Well, another week goes by, and me and Gonzo are back with our cup of tea. Gonzo, that's a very fancy custom cup you've got there in your hand. I don't think I've seen that before, have I?
We went to the there's a lot of pottery club, so my wife said take the kids out to the pottery club, and they're all doing all this stuff. And the lady in the pottery club said, "Would you like a mug, sir?" I said, "Oh yeah, go on in." And I did this lovely. It's got Gonzo on. It's a bit sad, really. It's got Gonzo on the back as well. You can see that I can't see the hammers inside because the tea will fall out, and I'm drinking it. I'm nursing this cup of tea at the moment. Yes, my special mug.
Yeah, that's a nice cup. Did you know it's a month today? The Premier League starts exactly 1 month today. Does that sound quite close to you? Do you think bloody hell that's not very long?
Yeah, funny enough, I told my son exactly the same today. It's not. It doesn't seem. It seems what it is, but because it still seems a long way away because we haven't got a home game for such a long time. So yeah, it won't. It'll feel like it's started, and we'll join in, and we'll watch on telly. I think I'm going to go to the Southampton game as well. But it doesn't feel like it's going to kick off. We've got a long while to wait, so it doesn't feel quite there yet.
Yeah, I was looking at the Manchester travel from all the way up in the northeast of Scotland, and I was like, I've got a while to book it. I was like, wait, hang on a minute, I've only got 4 weeks to book this. Actually, I was like, this time goes really quickly, and the travel goes up very quickly as well. However, quite a bit closer, Monday night, our first pre-season friendly. Are you looking forward to that one?
I wasn't, but I am now. Now I know.
Did you know it was on Monday night?
No, but it's on Premier Sports or something. Is that right?
Yeah, all our friendlies in Austria and Germany are on Premier Sports, so happy days.
Who are we playing?
Is it Sturm Graz? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, so yeah, Austrian team. Yeah, it'd be nice. It's good to see all the new signings in action.
Yeah, the one new signing. They've got a Europa League game on the Thursday, so it'll be their reserve team. Is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing, not just on Monday, but the pre-season as a whole? I think we've got 5 games in Austria and Germany, and then or 6 maybe, and then we've got the one against City in Iceland. Is there anyone you're sort of going to be keeping an eye out for?
No, because they mean very little to me. It's a really nice trip out for all the fans. You know, nice place to go. Germany, Austria. You know, particularly if you're up near the mountains in Austria, lovely place to be. Bavaria as well in Germany if they're there. What it actually means in terms of the team, very little because we've seen people like Samuelson, we've seen people like Cullen heavily involved in pre-season games in the past, and then nothing actually comes of it. So I read very little into it. I'd be very surprised if we saw anything approaching the first team on the pitch at any one time. I'm sure we'll have rotating, revolving substitutions with a squad of 25 players, most of whom will get on and off the pitch. So I listen, we'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll enjoy it. And anyone that I see that performs well, I'll enjoy it. But I do take pre-season with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, we'll be doing our reviews of the games. Obviously, we're not going to get really worked up if we lose. We're not going to get overly excited if we win. Well, we might actually. Depends what happens in the game. So Monday night, we'll have our review live, first one of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the kids, actually. I don't know why. I'm still looking for. I think some of them are going to have to stay in the squad this year because we're getting rid of a lot of fringe players, and we're only looking to bring in 2 or 3 quality. So there's 2 or 3 squad numbers to be made up somewhere. I think we have to make them up. You know, it's encouraging to see that Reece Burke's out there, and he himself has said he was prepared to go out on loan. He thought he was going out on loan, and actually Bilic said, well, no, hang on a minute, I want you to stay around for pre-season first. That's encouraging at the very slightest. And I think it's Darren Lewis said Bilic is wanting to play 3-4-3. If we're not after any centre-backs, that means either Zabaleta is going to be a centre-back or Burke might just have a chance to stick around. But also, striker, only Fletcher and Martinez are only fit strikers, I think. So they're going to be getting decent chances pre-season. So hopefully one of them take their opportunity, if you like. What are you puffing out your cheeks for there?
Just what you said. You asked earlier on, who are you looking forward to seeing? And I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe little Lanzini, some youngsters like you said. See if Antonio's there. But you're absolutely right. We've got to this ridiculous stage. We have no strikers. You're right in your assessment. There's no way Carroll will play in the pre-season. There's no way Sacco will play in the pre-season. Valencia went today, as I'm sure you want to talk about. Caleri signed for somebody as well, isn't he, today, I believe? La Palma, I think. Yeah, we definitely need some strikers if that's all we've got to lead the line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Ogbonna, actually. I've just remembered I was going to say him because after his lengthy injury, etc., I'm looking forward to seeing him back. And Obiang, if he gets to join in towards the end of the pre-season, like you said, Antonio. But anyway, you guys let us know who you're looking forward to seeing. Is anyone you're keeping an eye out for? Joe Hart might be there on Monday night. But before we speak about him, let's do some transfer talk. I think everyone likes the transfer talk, Gonzo. Joe, is this your favourite part of the show?
No, I like the whole show. I like the informal chit chat. Don't mind what we're talking about. I quite like Q&A at the end, actually. I like transfers, though. You know, I like a bit of transfer gossip.
Yeah, you like a little bit of John Joe Shelby or Frank Lampard or Daniel Bloody Sturridge chat.
I don't care, mate. Bring it on. The thing is, it's like today. I've not picked up the phone once today to look at any transfer stuff. So I don't know. So you often surprise me. So we might be linked with someone interesting, have we? Who are we signing?
Nobody. Well, maybe one. We'll talk about him in a minute. We're not going to go too much into Marko Arnautovic because we did a video on him a couple of nights ago. It's on our channel. Go have a look. 10, 12-minute discussion. But what I find interesting now is a few Stoke fans appear to tell us we've got absolutely no chance of signing him. Turns out we might have. But today, Gonzo, now the price is jumping up a little. Every day it seems to get a bit more. Their asking price seems to get a little bit extra. It's up to 25 million today, if you believe the papers. Is that too much for you, or is that the right price?
It's too much, but we've got to shift how we value players. It moves on each season. So as I understand it, Everton have bid 40 million for Sigurdsson today, which has been turned down because Swansea values Sigurdsson at 50 million. Well, if Sigurdsson's worth 50 million, perhaps Arnautovic is worth 25. It's hard to say. It seems like obscene money, but the money's inflated because the Premier League television deal is inflated and everybody wants a slice of the pie. You'd have to have a cut-off at some point, but I'm quite sure a deal will be agreed at around 21, 22 million. I'm pretty sure of that. It might, if he scores 100 goals and we win the Champions League, it might have add-ons adding up to 25 million, but I'm pretty sure we'll end up paying 21, 22.
Yeah, it is pricey. But it's the going rate, isn't it? 25 million. I mean, you could look at it as this 19 million plus Enner Valencia if you want to look at it like that. And to me, that's a good deal. I think anyone would take that, really. And we sold Valencia for 6 million, added in 19 million. That's how it is going. I think you're buying someone who would be expected to be extremely successful. I don't see the problem here. You're not taking. It's not a gamble. This is not a risky one. No. This is not a risk. But anyway, that's enough from us. We'll be speaking about him later on, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure this is not the end of the transfer talk. Not much striker talk, Gonzo. Are you surprised at that? Are you worried at that? Or is that a good sign for you?
I've never considered it was a good sign, but I know what you mean. Are they keeping it quiet and secretly doing a deal? I hope so. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Am I worried? Getting that way, although I'm trying to be open-minded. I will let the window close before passing judgment on this window. If we get to the end of the window and we've not signed a striker, then we'll have a discussion. But hopefully something's happening. Does seem like they're dropping like flies, though. Anybody that we seem to want to bring in seems to fall by the wayside quite early. So I think we've seen our list of targets shrink quite considerably.
Yeah, I mean, the Iheanacho one, we did that really quietly. No one knew we were really in for him until it turned out that actually we had done the whole thing and pulled out at the last minute because of Bilic. If you believe it or not, the difference is we did it quietly. We did it on the quiet. There wasn't anything out in the media. It was sort of, we want him, but that's as far as it went. Nobody knew that how far on that deal was. So that's promising, I suppose. There's only really one striker, though, isn't there? Hernandez. Is there anyone else that you're sort of expecting us to? I know I'm not talking about Gray and the second striker, if you like, the main striker. It seems to be in for Hernandez and hope that he picks us and doesn't get the offer of a Champions League club.
Well, the longer we leave it, the longer we don't meet his demands, the more likely it is that a rival club comes in and takes him. And if he goes, then really, what are you going to do? Because you're going to have a very, very hard sell trying to make out that Andre Gray was a striker we've been waiting 24 months for and the answer to all our problems. So they need to make the Hernandez. If he's the chosen one, they need to make the Hernandez deal happen.
I'll be surprised if finances get in the way of this. I know our board can be tight, but I don't know. I just think I can't see them making this mistake again. I think he's just wanting a better club. I think he's wanting a Champions League club. I think he's in no hurry. Why should he be? He'll have enough options. I think it's a bit like Bacca from 12 months ago, but I don't know. How confident are you of getting Hernandez out of 1 to 10, roughly?
Oh, 5. I'm not even sure I'm 5, maybe even 4. I'm not confident of signing that player.
Do you think Arnautovic and Hart would sort of persuade Hernandez? Do you think you could go back to him and say, "Well, look who we're buying. This is serious."
No. He's played for Man United and Real Madrid. He's not going to. He might not even know who Arnautovic is. I mean, it's quite plausible. Depends if he's followed the Premier League since he's gone and played in Germany. I'm sure he knows who Joe Hart is. Played for Manchester City, England goalkeeper, on and off. So, I doubt it's. If we sign David De Gea and Anthony Martial, then that as a goalkeeper and somebody that might play wide left, I think you might stand up and take notice and say, "Hold on, West Ham, you want to sign them." But no, I don't think a player of the players of the highest caliber want to see other sort of top line players coming in, and they're not top line players because we can't afford top line players. That's just the reality of the situation.
Well, some of our targets have disappeared. Ian Actual looks like he's away to go to Leicester City. We're waiting on the Spurs deal with Walker to be tied up, I think, just in case they needed him as bait, but it looks like it's going through without him in the deal. Modeste has gone off to China for a 5 million loan fee. So it's a pricey loan fee. So I'm kind of glad the board didn't really pursue that one. I think that's an expensive striker. And that Villarreal guy, I'm not 100% sure how you say his name, is Bakumbu, is that his name? Bakambu or something? This is where I need Tom or Charlie. They're more cultured than I am.
They're shouting it at the screen right now, probably. I haven't got a clue. I'm not Tom or Charlie, unfortunately for you. I don't even know who you're talking about, mate.
Well, the Villarreal striker, he was a sort of minor target of ours. He signed an extension at Villarreal this week, so he won't be joining us either. So that's 3 strikers off our list in the space of a week. However, Giroud has admitted that he might have to leave Arsenal, so maybe there's more to come on that one. That could be the one we're doing on the quiet. We'll wait and see. Now, let's talk about this transfer that looks more and more likely to happen, Colin. So, Mr. Joe Hart, are you happy with this one? On loan for a year, paying half his wages, 50, 60 grand a week, whatever it is, and an option to buy at the end of it?
I think as long as we get the striker situation sorted out, I'll be happy with the Joe Hart signing. At the moment, I think we've got bigger priorities. We seem to be dealing with everything apart from the striker. So it wasn't something that stuck out for me that we needed a goalkeeper. I don't think there's a lot in terms of ability between him and Adrian. I think they're both really good shot stoppers, and I think they're both prone to a mistake. What I do like about him, he's very vocal. He seems like a character, and he's got leadership qualities. And I think in that sense, by signing sort of Zabaleta and Joe Hart, you are bringing more characters and more leaders into the team, and that can only help the back line, whatever that may be. He's going to be good in the dressing room as well. And I think the fans will take to him. He's, funny enough, a lot like Adrian. You saw him when he was at Man City. He'll turn to the crowd quite a lot. He talks to the crowd. He tries to G the crowd up. He seems like a nice guy as well, so he does seem like a character. The more characters, the better. Knows the league. It's a decent sign. I'm not going to whinge about that signing. Certainly, Adrian and Joe Hart is a better combination than Adrian and Randolph. So if we've improved it from that sense, it's fine. But it's not the first thing I would have done with our budget this window.
I don't think it'll touch the budget too much, so I think it's a very clever move from the board. Actually, get someone in, pays a wage that you're paying Arbeloa anyway, and he could make the first 11. This is what we're talking about in the other video when we were speaking about Arnautovic. We're saying if we got him, that would be him and Zabaleta that could get into the first 11. We've now got Hart to add to that list as well. I don't want to see him come permanently. I think he's too out of prone. I don't think he's worth the over 100 grand a week and the 15 million fee. However, the loan deal is a very good sort of compromise, if you like. I think it's worth the deal. Like you said, I think he'll get on with the crowd. I wonder if that sort of crowd's arm around his shoulders could help him. He certainly used to be one of the best keepers in the league anyway. But if we can get that out of him, we're laughing.
Well, he'll enjoy it at West Ham because we are that club. We'll love him, and we'll have a laugh with him, and he'll have a laugh back. And I think he'll really enjoy it. He'll feel like he's at a proper football club, which he's no disrespect. Was he Torino before? I'm not saying Torino aren't a proper football club, but he probably didn't even understand what the fans were saying, unless he's Italian, turned out to be brilliant in the first run, and he learnt the language within 6 months. But I think he'll enjoy it. He'll feel like he's come home, and we'll make him feel wanted. So I think he'll enjoy that experience, because he probably felt very unwanted by Man City. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a point to prove. He's definitely got something to prove. He's going to have to earn his move permanently to us, because if it doesn't work out at West Ham, he really is on the scrap heap. He will be struggling to find a Premier League club in 12 months' time. This one goes as badly as it did at Torino. I think it's lucky that it's sort of out in Italy. It's sort of out the public's eye a little bit. I think if he was doing those mistakes at a Premier League club, I don't think this move would be so welcomed. But I think it's a good move, to be honest. I think it's a good move, risk-free, really. Right, well, keeper's leaving then. Someone's going to have to go. Both are being linked to new clubs. What one would you like to speak about first?
Well, I just think I'll just answer your question. I think Randolph will be the one to go, because he's not quite as good as Adrian. They extended Adrian's, took up the option, gave it another 2 years, got 2 more years of Adrian. Again, like we spoke about Hart with a crowd, Adrian is like that with a crowd. He's a real character. The crowd love him. I don't think he's got the same commanding personality on the pitch, if you know what I mean, to the rest of the team. I think he's great with the crowd and stuff like that, has a good laugh. But I think Joe Hart, from what I remember him, will shout at his centre backs, will shout at their left back to come in and, you know, start instructing the right back. So, but actually, I really like Adrian. He's a great guy. He's a great shot stopper. Free transfer for West Ham as well, he was, and he's paid us back tenfold. He really has. So I'd like to see him remain, and Randolph, who's of a slightly lesser quality, but again, he was a cost next to nothing from Birmingham, and was shipping goals for fun with them as well. So you'd like to think he's come in, sort of resurrected his career a little bit, got himself the Ireland berth, went and played in the major championships as well. So I think coming to West Ham was good for Randolph. But if, as rumoured, Middlesbrough want him, he might be wise just to go up to the Riverside and be the main man at a club, be the main man at a championship club. And that might be good for him.
I think Randolph has to do it, actually. If he wants to keep his #1 shirt for Ireland, I think Randolph has to leave, because I don't think he's got too much competition at Ireland yet, but I think he has to go. It does look like he's going to Middlesbrough. The fee quoted is $5 million. That seems an awful lot, in my opinion. I thought we'd be lucky to get $2 million, to be honest. $5 million. I'd take any price for him, to be honest, as long as it covers Joe Hart's loan fee, if there is one attached to it. Adrian, he's been linked with Palace. Would you be disappointed to see him in a Palace shirt at the start of the season?
Yeah, of course. They've just sold Steve Mandanda back to Marseille, as everybody always seems to go back to Marseille, don't they? Bit of a strange one. So going on there, as some people suggested. Palace, yeah, I would, because I would be jealous, because he feels like he's West Ham, and I don't want to see a West Ham player over at Palace particularly. They've already got Tompkins over there, so you don't mind people getting players you don't like, but I thought, even though Tompkins left, I thought Tompkins was still good enough to be a part of West Ham. Maybe not a first team all the time, but I still thought he had a part to play, and I thought he got on well with the fans. I'd say the same with Adrian. Adrian is not. It's not like he's useless. We need to get rid of him. We like him. He's very welcome to stay, and he still could get the #1 jersey. So yeah, I would rather he didn't go there.
Yeah, I think with Adrian, I think he can give Hart competition, actually. I've got more faith in him giving Hart a bit of a run for his money than Randolph. But the thing is, so if Adrian wanted to leave, I wouldn't stop him. He owes us nothing. Like you said, he's repaid us. He didn't cost anything anyway, but he's more than repaid us. He probably deserves first-team football. However, last season was just a bit of a calamity for him and Randolph. So if he did want to start fresh, I wouldn't blame him at all. I wish him best of luck. But I hope he's the one that stays, actually. I do hope. Randolph disappointed me last year. I really want to see him in goal for a long time over Adrian. I was fed up with Adrian a bit. And when Randolph did get his chance, started off really well, made some top saves, but he's sort of his flaws were more exposed because you only seen him a few times this season before. He looked really good, but then when he was in goal all the time, his flaws came out more. He was under pressure a bit more, making more mistakes, and you thought, oh, hang on, perhaps he's not that as good as I first thought. So for that reason, I wish them both best of luck, whichever one goes, but I think one of them will. Enner Valencia's move has finally been confirmed a week late. The paperwork's finally done. He's now over in Mexico. Feghouli is still sort of in the balance of the Galatasaray. The Turkish media still seem to think he's off to Galatasaray, but no official words yet. We've not really heard much about it. Some more to come on that one. Snodgrass is still being linked with a move away and maybe used as a bargaining chip to try and get Andre Gray from Burnley. I wonder if that's what's holding up the Andre Gray deal, actually. I wonder if they're trying to sneak Snodgrass in there. Burnley did want him in January, though. But the last rumour, I know you're not going to like this one. Arsenal were looking at Quina.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like that. We signed that boy. And by the way, I think it's on Saturday. So he's in the final. To give people some context, those that don't know, he's in the final of the Under-19 European Championships, which they're playing England. And that's on Saturday. I think I did have to check. It might be on Eurosport, not sure. But he's been the star of the tournament, Quina. Now, it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody because he was the wonder kid that we signed from Chelsea. And he joined us because Chelsea, he didn't feel, would give him any first team action. So what we've clearly done is persuaded him to come to us and spurn them. Now, you've only got to look at how Chelsea conducts their youth players. A youth player's not broken through at Chelsea for years. In fact, you've got more chance as a youth player at Chelsea actually going out to Antwerp or somewhere like that, doing a few seasons, then getting transferred to a German club and then being bought by somebody for big money. You know, you've only got to look at De Bruyne, look at Lukaku. You know, these guys tend to make their name elsewhere, and they're not the only ones. So that's why he came to West Ham, because we said we'd give him some game time and with a promise of that. I'd be very, very disappointed if, that being said, we didn't give him a route to the first team if he's that good, and he actually ended up at Arsenal. And they did, because it wouldn't surprise me if Arsene Wenger found a place for someone like that in his team, because he's very good at bringing you through.
I can't see this happening at all. I don't think he'd get a game at Arsenal either, to be honest with you. I still remember when we signed him, the transfer window was shut. I still remember Dave Sullivan, the kid, tweeting that this signing could be one of the best signings they make. While his dad's the owner at West Ham, he said, you're not going to see him yet, but a years to come, I might look back and think that signing was just marvellous. And I was listening to the West Ham Ways radio show there, Mark Phillips on, who's an under-18s assistant manager, and he was saying that boy is something else. He's saying that boy's got talent, headed from the top. Also on Saturday, as Gonzo said, he is in the final. Nathan Trott is also in the final for England. He's in goal for England in that one. So we've got a West Ham player on each side in the final at the weekend. But anyway, Fantasy League. We've set up our own league. We'll put the pin in the description below. So feel free to register, join the Hammer Chat League. Now we're going to have lots of prizes on this one. Some at the end of the season for the winners, obviously. But now and again, through the season, we might decide this weekend, whoever comes top out of that one weekend will win a prize. Even if you're bottom of the league, you've still got a chance of winning something. So make sure you stick around and have a look at that. Also, while we've just spoke about Joe Hart, Vesa Hammer have been banging out some articles about Joe Hart. Some of them are really good reads, actually. They've been in quite good form over the last 24 hours. So check them out. Put the link in the description to Vesa Hammer. Gonzo, you wanted to speak about the stadium.
I do. I mean, some big news today. And a lot of it slips under the radar. We're waiting for talk of Arnautovic or strikers or Joe Hart. So I skimmed it. I lied when I said I looked at my phone. I did. I looked at my phone earlier, and Sean had written an article, and he's got his fingers in all the pies. You know what he's like. He's got contacts at LLDC, Stadium 185, and all those guys. He does all that investigative stuff. So they've had a secret meeting, okay, the LLDC, to decide and discuss upon the future of the stadium, the London Stadium. But they've all signed confidentiality agreements, so it's all secret squirrel and cloak and dagger. So we don't know what's come out of there. But, and here's the thing, as a result of that and other meetings that have gone on, they started placing valuations on the stock holdings of the company. So they valued the Olympic Park, I think it was 179 million. I think they valued the orbital statue at 7.5 million, and they valued the stadium. And I had to read it. I read it, and I read it initially as 1.5 billion. I thought, hold on, I've got to look. It was 1.5 million. And they are making loss over loss over loss. It appears, as I say, I skimmed this article once, but you know, it's I've no reason to doubt its authenticity. I think they're struggling with the 40 million payment to Newham because Newham loaned some money to them. I just think they're really, really struggling. And I looked at it, and it's something, you know, I've thought for quite a while. I've always said I don't think that stadium's going to be standing in its current form in 15, 20 years' time. Never have done. I think what we're seeing now are the first moves in it becoming owned by us. It is completely untenable. It's a complete loss-making venture. And that is before they've added in whatever it's going to cost to put all those seats back into place again. It is losing money hand over fist. And I just think it might not be next week. It might not be next year, but I don't think it's going to be an awful long time before we get offered a favourable deal for that place. But it also struck me how much the fact they put a value on the park and everything else. It does make us ripe for takeover. It really, really does. Just the whole lot. For somebody with a lot of money, it'd be a very attractive proposition, West Ham. But yeah, I can't. It just can't carry on. They're not going to carry on losing £10 million a year. They just won't. So yeah, I was very interested by that.
Yeah, more to come on that ground. What I will say is, what I did, while I didn't read that, I did notice that the contract for the seating is now going to a company. It's now, instead of being called retractable seating, it's now being called relocatable seating. Now that's a bit of a, that's not what we were told it was going to be. We were told this was going to be retractable seating. They now changed it to relocatable. Basically means the scaffold is here to stay and it's going to go outside in the summer. Yeah. But anyway, that's that stadium news. The new home kit came out yesterday. So the new home kit's out. If you've got it, if you like it, let us know on Twitter. Send it to @hammers_chat. It's good, always good to see people wearing it. It looks a lot better in person on someone than it does on a coat hanger. Checker trade. Gonzo, are you looking forward to this? I am really looking forward to this competition for some reason. We're in the checker trade next season. The under-21s are playing. Their group is Bristol Rovers, Wickham, and Swindon. I'm really looking forward to it. Are you going to take this seriously at all, or is it just another bum competition for you?
Well, you're going to have to tell me something about it. I don't. This is an under-21s competition.
No. It's do you know the Johnson's Paint Trophy?
Oh, yeah, the one where it's normally the lowest two divisions, and they go to Wembley at the end of it.
So League 1 and League 2 are in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. This year it's sponsored by Checker Trade. So it's just basically that, but they've changed the format now. Since they've now got groups, but they've also taken in the under-21s from the Premier League clubs into the Checker Trade competition. So in our group, we've got Wickham, Swindon, and Bristol Rovers. I think
it's a cracking idea. I know. Sorry, I know. I've always remembered it. I'll show my age as the Auto Windscreen Shield Trophy. That's what it used to be called. I think it's a cracking idea. They need to shake up of youth football, and they need to get experience, and ideally not being loaned out so they're all separate. They need experience together and as a team. I think it's a cracking idea, and I really like it. There's not a single thing I don't like about that idea. Yeah, and in fact, you say Wickham. We're in a group with Wickham.
Yeah.
Well, that's 15 miles from me, mate. I'll go up and watch them up there. No problem at all.
Yeah, I think we'll take a good follow into these grounds as well. Actually, I put it on Twitter, and a lot of people saying, "Yeah, I'm going. I'm up for that. I'm going to that game and stuff." So that's brilliant. The Man U tickets are on sale next week. In case you're wanting to go to Old Trafford for our season opener, season ticket holders, Thursday is your day. So keep your eye out for go online and have a look at the ticket information. David Gold has been at it on Twitter again. Now he's been quoting TalkSport about how they really like our new home shirt and they really like our ground. Well, of course they would when they're in that press box getting fed fancy stuff, etc. But anyway, now it's question time. Gonzo said this is your favourite bit. So if you're on the live chat and got any questions, ping them in now and we'll start working through them. But Gonzo will start with the same one as we have done for the last
the number.
It's from Sam.
Sam, sorry. I called him Simon last week, didn't I? Yeah, hello, Sam.
Out of 10,
6.
How worried are you?
6. Sam, I'm still 6.
I think I'm 5. I'm still 5. I don't know. I think Joe Hart's helped us for tonight, though. I think Joe Hart's maybe sort of cooled everyone a little bit. Social media is in a good mood tonight because of Joe Hart, actually. I think it was a pleasant place to be, where it's been getting a bit grumpy and people have been pulling out money, etc., and sort of saying, where's the money going? Where's the money going? This Joe Hart thing sort of calmed everyone a little bit. Richie Rich says, oh Christ, I know your answer to this one already. Richie Rich says, should we get Morales from Everton?
Yes. Yeah, the Belgian winger. Yeah, he's full of skills, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely. I like him. Yeah, good. Nice shout, Rich.
Yeah, it's outside one for me. Outside. Depends on the price tag, I suppose. Mark says, do you think we should put in an offer for Danny Welbeck?
Sorry, I was going to laugh. Well, I did half laugh. But then I thought, actually, he's a ton better than everything we've got at the moment, isn't he? I shouldn't laugh, really. It's not the worst. I do like people come up with stuff I've never even thought of. I do, but I've got to say, I really want us to make a bid for Anthony Martial. I'm going to keep saying, maybe if I say it enough times, it might happen. Just a derisory bid, but no, I think Welbeck's a decent shout. It would be a decent shout. I think he'd play well for us. He's about the standard of player that we would get, but I'm pretty sure Wenger's ego wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. The injury part is a bit worrying. He has been injured for a while, but when he's fit, I think he's maybe definitely one of England's best strikers when he's fit currently. I think he's definitely gets in the England squad if I was choosing one. Mark's Darren says, what about Rondon? We need a striker, and he thinks Rondon is a beast.
Oh, I don't know. Darren, speak to Geo. Geo likes him. He looked a beast, didn't he? He looked a beast for a third of the season. And then he looked a bit of a wallflower for the rest of it. So I don't know. I don't know, mate.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. I think he's a really good player. I know Bilic really likes him. Bilic really, really likes Rondon. Dixie's would suit West Ham, but West Brom won mega bucks. They really do. Actually, I've missed that transfer out. We're going to have to rewind a little bit here, Gonzo. I've missed out. I wrote it down. Did you see the link? Ayew and Chadley swap deal. What did you make of that?
Well, I actually think Chadley is my sort of player. I do quite like Chadley. I think he would come in on the left wing. In fact, I'd be tempted to take Chadley before Arnautovic, actually. I do really like him. I'd like to know what Bilic plans to do with Ayew, because I don't think Ayew is going to start in his first 11 next season. If everyone's fit, I don't think Ayew starts. I wanted Ayew to come in as a striker. He's not going to play him as striker, and that disappoints me. He clearly... So I don't know what Ayew is. He's not quite quick enough to be a winger, so you'd like to see him more central because he can play those 1-2s and be quite a decent player. But I don't think he's going to start. I think if we sign Chadley starts. But by the same token, we've got 20 million invested in Ayew, and I'm not sure I'd pay 20 million for Chadley, if that makes sense. So I'd almost be inclined to try and get Chadley, but keep Ayew as well.
I'm so for Chadley. If he was to come, great. I'd prefer Arnautovic over him. I do really hope we get him. Swapping for Ayew, no chance. I think Ayew was when he came back from the African Nations, Lanzini and Collins apart, I think he was our best player. I honestly do think he was brilliant in that last third of the season. His link-up with Lanzini was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing them two have a season together, playing alongside each other. Lanzini's finally got an attacking midfielder on his wavelength. As good as Antonio is, the boy can't pass. The boy can't do a quick 1-2 in behind someone. He gets the ball and runs. That's what he does. That's fine. You can do the 1-2s. You know, I'm sure it was him. Was it for Gouli's goal against Burnley?
Yeah, he flicks it through to the dummy. Yeah, he's very, very good. Very good.
Beautiful football. I can't understand why people would consider selling Ayew. I think he's at West Ham. He's settled. He's linking up well with the players we've got. We wouldn't be selling Ayew. We'd be selling a player who can play in the Bilic's system with the players we've got. I think it'd be far too risky to sell him. I think we don't want to see too much changes to this. Going into this transfer window, everyone said we don't want to see too much changes. We don't want quantity, we want quality. I think we're now going down the route where people are starting to go for quantity again, saying, yeah, we'll have a keeper, we'll have a right back, we'll have a striker, we'll have a left winger. Actually, yeah, we'll swap out IU as well. And I think before you know it, we can have 7 new players again. And
yeah, I also think we've sold enough. I think there's a point where you're clearing out deadwood, which I think we've done. I think we've done it successfully. But you also don't sell players that can play, and IU can play and score goals. He's proved he can score goals. You don't get rid of those players. As I say, I think Valencia could have played all next season and not scored a goal. Torre looks like he's got a bad injury, so hopefully he recovers and has a career, in Turkey or wherever he's going to be. Zaza didn't look. You get rid of those players that can't do it. You don't get rid of the guys that can do it, and clearly he can do it. So we've sold enough, I think.
Tom says, fair enough selling Randolph, but you'd get more money for Adrian. So which one would you sell? Would you go for the money and keep Randolph as number 2, or would you take the lesser fee for the better keeper on the bench?
I don't think it matters, Tom. And I'm talking about the money. I would still keep Adrian, even though we'd get more money for him, because we've got money at the moment and we can't spend it. So we might have 50 million at the moment to spend. In fact, I hear we have. Well, we can't spend it. So it would only mean us having 55 million that we couldn't spend. So no, I'd rather keep the player.
Liam says, what's our opinions on Font? A big season for him, in my opinion, despite his age, despite the fact he's quite old and he's proved it at Southampton. I think he's still got a bit to prove at West Ham. A lot.
Yeah, I can't see him playing too much, Liam. I read somewhere that Bilic might want to play a 3-4-3 next season.
I just told you that earlier on in the show.
Yeah, I heard it somewhere. Yeah, quite recently. Can't remember who said it. In which case, where does that leave Zabaleta? So I think if he plays a 3-4-3, then Font's got obviously more a chance of playing. 4-4-2, he doesn't play. So I would be interested to see what Bilic actually does next season. But yeah, as I say, 4-4-2, he's not going to play very much. Wouldn't be surprised to see him sold in January.
I'm happy to keep him. I was buzzing when he came. I thought we were buying a really, really good centre back. He did okay last season. He started off a bit crap, but he didn't have a right back, and I think he struggled not having the right back. He was covering Kouyaté, Antonio, even Byram. He was having to cover the right wing back a lot. He was getting dragged out of position. I thought he was a bit of a scapegoat. I think a lot of people were saying he was rubbish, but actually he was trying to do 2 jobs. And I think when Byram sort of found his feet a little bit and started playing well at right wing back, and we went to 3 at the back, Font's performances increased. It was no coincidence. So we are playing 3 at the back. I'm more than happy for him to be in there. He looks a lot more comfortable, but he had a poor summer with Portugal at the Confederations Cup. He's a bit like Snodgrass for me. Needs the pre-season. I'll tell you what, actually Snodgrass won the bleep test. Did you see that? I bet you would never have put money on that.
Do you mean the beep test? Is that where when people swear it gets a beep on it?
Yeah, the fitness test.
Slagging him off.
Just for those that don't know, it's a fitness test. You there's a certain distance and it beeps, and you've got to get to the other side before it beeps again. If you don't make it, you're out. Snodgrass beat everyone. He won. But while that doesn't make him faster, I don't know. I'm clinging on to a bit of positivity. That means he's come back and top Nick. He's ready to go. And I'm clinging on. I'm skipping Barrow for positivity.
Yeah, you're right. It's a beep test is not actually about pace. It's about endurance. That means it can be shit for longer.
Yeah, just
I'm only joking. I hope he works out. I'm only mucking around. I hope it works out for Snodgrass, but I also would like to sell him.
Justin asked a question about the ground, but we'll do a show on that because the answer will be way too lengthy. Steve is asking, what about Walcott? Have you given up on Walcott? It's all gone very quiet.
Well, I'd love Walcott as our centre forward. Get him in, sign him. Have I given up on him? I don't think I ever truly believed he would come in. I don't believe much at the moment, so I'd have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, I can't see them selling them because I've seen a thing that Arsenal are now at the top of their non-homegrown players. Their rota is full, so they can't really sell Oxlade-Chamberlain or Walcott, etc. They've still got Kieran Gibbs, and I think they're wanting to shift him, but they've got to balance out the whole homegrown part of their squad a little bit further. That's why I think Giroud might have to leave. I think it's going to be a case of, well, we need to offload someone who's not British, if you like. You're unfortunately someone that we can get a decent fee for. People want you. Cheerio. I think that works in our favour a little bit. I think it's gone under the radar, that part. Someone, I can't read my own writing, apologies, says, what about Dembele at Celtic? We discussed him in January. Would you take him as the main striker still, or do you need
I'm glad the person who we can't, the non-legible person who we can't read the writing for, I'm glad he suggested that, because I saw it in the paper last week. And I thought, oh, yeah, I remembered us speaking about him. If he's available, that should be our number one target. If that is available. As I remember us sort of scoffing, not scoffing, you really wanted him. You really wanted him, okay? But we thought 25 million might or might not get him. And I think I remember you saying something like 40 million probably definitely would. Well, you know what? I think you get that guy for 30 million. And I think if we're struggling, that's what you go and do. Go and get that guy. I think that is a really good shout.
But you would take him over Hernandez?
No, but I don't think we're getting Hernandez. So that's, you know...
I said you'd make him your number one choice, though. You said you'd rather him than anyone else.
No, I wouldn't rather him. I just don't... It's like you just said, Walcott. I don't think we're getting Walcott. I don't think we're getting Hernandez. You asked earlier, did I think we were getting Hernandez? I said, no, I just don't think he's going to come. Yeah, that guy... I mean, I take it Celtic obviously won the league unless something ridiculous happened in Scotland, right? Celtic won the league, yeah?
Yeah.
So does that mean they're automatically in Champions League, or do they have to do a qualifier?
Qualifiers.
Okay. I still think, listen, there's no way West Ham are anywhere near as big a club as Celtic. Celtic are one of the biggest clubs in the world. I've seen their support with my own eyes. But I still think the lure of week in, week out in the Premier League probably supersedes, possibly might get into the Champions League to play one or two, and then when you're not, you're going to play uncompetitive football more or less in the SPL. So I think there's a chance of luring him over. I don't think Champions League clubs, you know what I'm saying, the ones that Hernandez might be looking at, are necessarily going to be looking at that guy. That I find an expensive target, but a realistic one. I think we could get him, and that's what I mean when I say he should be our number one target. I think that's realistic. We could get that guy.
I think he's still 40 million. I don't think you'll get him for 30. The problem is, if you whack in a 30 million bid, I think 3 or 4 other bids will come pinging in for him. Chelsea, AC Milan, maybe Dortmund if they sell their strikers. Bigger clubs will come pinging in for him. So I think you'd have to go top end, try and not price him out, but for even for Chelsea, go 40 million. It's a bit much for our sub. But 30 million, yeah, we'll do that because we can offload Diego Costa eventually. I would love him here. Victor.
I saw a player. I think he was linked with Brighton or something the other day, and he was over in Ghent or Genk. I think his name was Moses Simon or something. Little geezer, Nigerian. I'm telling you, rapid guy, banging him in. There you go. There's my punt. That fella.
Yeah, that's a punt, all right. Victor says, I've spoken about this guy before. It's a bit of a mouthful. A Sombalonga from Nottingham Forest.
Britta Sombalonga. Never heard of him.
I would take him. I would take him over Gray as a second choice striker. Big, powerful, strong. He had a horrible injury, but people don't let that put you off him. He's recovered from it. He's fine. He scored goals in a crap Nottingham Forest side last season. 15 million apparently. I thought he was going to Borough for some reason, but then I seen they've signed that Braithwaite that we were linked with a year ago. But I saw him Belonga. I'd happily have him here any day. Matthew, this guy was linked with us a year ago. Mandzukic.
No, not for me. I think he's had his best days. He clearly has got some merit. Is he still at Juve?
Yeah.
Not for me, but I tell you what, if I said Danny Welbeck's better than what we got, clearly Mandzukic is better than what we currently have. But I would like to see us doing something else personally.
Yeah, he's scoring the best goals you'll see. A Champions League final back in May. I just don't like him for some reason. I know I'm in the minority for this, but I think it's because I bet on him. He never scores when I bet on him. I think he's just one of those players I know is good. He's not quite world class, but he's always been on the brink of it. He's elite, if you like. But whenever I bet on him, he doesn't bloody score. He just stands him out. He frustrates me. So it's a personal hatred. We all have those players. But he's talented. If he'd come, I'd be more than happy with him. Dan, like, send in your last questions. I've missed quite a bit because we've been chatting. So send in your last question. We'll rattle through them. Dan says, what about that little shit at Inter Milan?
Which one, Dan?
So Icardi. He's also referring to Icardi.
Oh, right. Yeah, he looks really good. Why is he a little shit? What's he done?
Because he had a fight with all the fans and he did a boot.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. We don't mind a bit of that at West Ham. We'll have a fight. We'll join in with him. No, he looks real quality. He looks a very, very good striker. Certainly a better quality. I think he's probably slightly above our level, to be honest. If we could get him, I'd be absolutely delighted. Yeah, top quality player.
Yeah, it's bite your hand off for him. He's fantastic. There's a couple of people asking about Joe Hart. I've already discussed him. If you're watching it live, you're going to have to go back and watch on playback. Rondon, we've already spoke about. Mike asks if we sign Arnautovic, Gray, Hernandez, and Joe Hart. Is that the perfect transfer window for you?
Joe Hart, Arnautovic, Gray, Hernandez, and then Zabaleta. You'd have to say that was a successful window.
I'd say that's a perfect window. The other thing is, though, it wouldn't cost that much. That's I'm trying to work out in my head, mate. That's about 53 million outlay, but we've already recouped. We already got back in just over 10 million, so it's about a 40 million net spend. It's a cheap window. That is a very cheap window for the caliber of players you're getting. And I'll tell you something. I can be quite critical of the board, Brady in particular, David Sullivan at times. But I'll tell you what, if that was to be the signings. Bear in mind, we've got Antonio, Obiang, and Ogbonna signed to new deals. Lanzini should. I'd say that's a perfect window. I'd wonder what the fuck was going on, to be honest with you, Gonzo. I'd think there was something this year. I'd be saying, well, can someone please look into this Hernandez deal, make sure it's all legit? There's something not right here. But if they do that, it's all over to Bilic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But this is why I sort of want to keep my powder dry and not really pass too much comment until the end of the window. And when I say not pass comment, clearly we do what we do and we do these videos, so we have to speak about it. But I don't want to pass judgment, if you know what I mean, because I could start slagging them off and then that could still possibly happen. And then you just think, well, hold on, I looked a bit silly. I should have kept my powder dry, so I'll wait and see, because that could still happen. If it does, it would be excellent, because what you've got is basically a bunch of first-team players and a reserve striker. Fantastic.
I think someone's trying to wind us up in the live chat, asking what we think about Higuain. I think someone's on the wind up there. Someone saying he wouldn't trust Slaven Bilic with a tenner of his money. But anyway, that's almost it from us. Gonzo, do you want to tell them about your shout and how to get their thoughts in for yourself?
Yes, please. I've got 2 or 3 videos. I'll be doing one either tomorrow or Saturday. info@hammerschat.com. That's where you send your clips. Record yourself on your mobile phone. Speak into it. Have a rant that we've got no strikers. Tell us who you want. Doesn't have to be about strikers. Tell us about the stadium. Tell us about Joe Hart. The moment I get another 3 or 4 videos, I'm on. And I'll be putting one out. So yeah, join in with that. And as Geo said, we'll have a Premier League video up within the next couple of weeks. As Premier League fantasy football video.
We want to see your thoughts now. You can do that in the comments below on the video, like Gonzo said, on our forum at hammerschat.com. Let us know on the following. What winger do you want to see? We're linked with Charlie. We're linked with Stoke's best player, apparently. Joe Hart on loan. How happy are you with that? It looks likely it's going to happen. Are you happy, or do you think it's a needless signing, or do you think our keepers are fine as it is? Faguli looks like it could be off ski. Is that the right move, or do you think it's a bit daft to sell someone who's just settling in at West Ham? And of course, we've got our fantasy league. Make sure you enter. I'll put the link in the description. We'll have more. We're going to be covering our fantasy league a lot this season, actually. So it's a chance. We're trying to make it a bit more fun and interact with these a bit more. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like on it if you've enjoyed our chat. Me and Gonzo will be back very shortly. Thank you for joining us.